Hello YouTube, Lyricide17 here, but you can just call me Travis, and welcome back to another edition of Up Next on the Shelf, the series where we take a look at what's up next on the shelf. Let's just jump into it. In the background we're listening to Stone by Acid Witch. I chose this because it was announced today that there's a new Acid Witch album coming out, something that I've long been waiting for. So I think this came out in 2010. Sounds like it's going to be definitely digitally released on Halloween, and at some point after that, physical, hopefully sooner rather than later. So yeah, there's a new song you can check out. I'll leave a link. Mutilation Mansion. So yeah, Acid Witch, super pumped. Evil Sound Screamers, that's the name of the new album. Alright, I got, I don't know, 10 or something. First up, this is the only album I have by this band. You probably saw it in the title of the video, and you're like, actually, you spelled that wrong. Like, I'll get into that. And it actually is that it says they're had I spelled them correctly, it also wouldn't have been much earlier in the series. Anyway, enough rambling and stuttering about that. This is Mare de Noms from A Perfect Circle, to kind of reference the name thing. For years and years and years, I thought this band was called A Perfect Circle, like a circle that's not perfect. A perfect, like A and perfect didn't have a space. For years, I thought that's what the actual band's name was. Obviously, that's not true. It's A Perfect Circle. If you're not familiar with this band, it's a super group, I guess. I mostly checked it out because it had Maynard James Keenan and Tool, who I was, marginally a fan of. I kind of feel like that's what this band is. It's sort of like a more, less hard Tool. Obviously, with Maynard James Keenan on vocals, that's something that, I don't know, maybe everyone thinks to a degree, because his vocals are so kind of unique sounding. But yeah, there's some of the people in this group. Josh Freese, who's in like the Vandals. Troy Van Leeuwen, I think he's in Queens of the Stone Age. Billy Hallowell, he's Ashes or something like that. And then Paz Lackatin, I think she's done lots of stuff, but I think she also has worked with Queens of Stone Age, and actually I think she might be the bassist of the Pixies now. Yeah, that's everyone who, at least who's on this release. I don't know, I haven't listened to this in a really long time. I thought it was fair when it came out, which was like 2000 or something, 2000. But yeah, I haven't listened to it in a while. I think it's probably okay if I listen to it now. Next up, I showed this off when I got it in, or sent to me in VCLT, from Life Eternal. This is his band, Apotheosis. Just some cool kind of blackened thrash stuff with some death metal mixed in there too. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. I'll leave a link to the Bandcamp. You should definitely check out this band and this album. This next one, this is a one-man band from Australia. This album came out in 2011. It's the last thing that was released, and it says they're still active on Metal Archives. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but this is Aquilus, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and this album is called Griseus. This album clocks in at like just under 80 minutes. The word epic sometimes is maybe thrown around a little too liberally, but I think it might probably applies here. Just kind of like an amalgam of stuff. Like it's very black metal, I guess, but it's also it's got lots of keyboards and piano and acoustic guitar and I don't know, just clean vocals and harsh vocals, but there's really not much vocals at all. It's a lot of instrumentation. It's kind of I kind of think of this as kind of a more black metal version of like Opeth. Definitely, in terms of the more meandering, progressive passages. I don't know, this is definitely, if you're into atmospheric black metal stuff at all, this is definitely worth checking out. I think it's a pretty good album. Yeah. This is Aquilus with Griseus. Hopefully something new will come out soon. Interestingly enough, another CD that came in that Life Eternal VCLT. This is Arphaxat, black metal band out of France. This is nothing super great, but it's kind of cool. The thing that's most notable about this band is that they're a bass-driven band, like there's no guitars, which kind of makes for an interesting sound. It actually is kind of interesting how much it really sounds very traditional black metal, while only being played on bass, which if nothing else, the sort of joke of black metal is there's not basses at all. So the fact that this band is really bass heavy and bass focused is kind of just, if nothing else, pretty interesting to check out. This came out like 2008, something like that. So yeah, Arphaxat. And the album is called, what's this called? Something in French. Loudun la Maudite. I'm sure I said that wrong. The next three are from the same artist. This is American metalcore artist As I Lay Dying. When I was super into metalcore, and this actually was one of the very first albums that I ever purchased when getting into metalcore, and was really a big influence on the kinds of stuff that I liked. As I Lay Dying was one of the big artists for me. Like I said, this album was super huge for me. Good stuff. If you're in the metalcore, you probably know who As I Lay Dying is, and if for nothing else, for Tim Lambease's criminal career, as we'll call it. I think he's out jailed now, actually. This one came out in like 2003. Was always a big fan of 94 Hours, Forever. Great songs, those ones. I always kind of thought that As I Lay Dying kind of had more of a melodic death metal influence in their sound compared to a lot of other metalcore bands, which was something that I enjoyed. The next one I picked up after that, this is their second full-length album, or maybe it's their third. They might have had something. Oh, actually, yeah, I think I know exactly what I'm talking about. We'll go third. This is Shadows of Security. I also really liked this one when it came out. As something that I'm off to do when I'm first listening to an album, I might grab the liner notes and just kind of read through. And I immediately was pumped when I saw this thing on the back hood that said Daniel Want, appears courtesy of Zao and Ferret Records. If you're not familiar with Daniel Want, he is the vocalist of Zao. And Zao at the time was another band I was super into. I've always kind of felt Zao was kind of like the precursor to American metalcore getting popular in the United States. So I was pumped up when I saw that, and he's on the song Control Is Dead, and definitely lived up to my expectations for him on this album. Otherwise, just another solid As I Lay Dying album. Again, if you're into metalcore, you're probably familiar with this release. And then the other one I got from them was just a compilation that came out right after that, 2006, which has the songs that are from a split, 3 of which went on to be on Frail Words Collapse, which I don't think I actually said the name of that title, name of that album. So there's 5 songs on that split, and 3 of those songs went on to be on Frail Words Collapse. So they have those songs, and they have those same 5 songs re-recorded for whatever reason. And then they have Beneath the Encasing of Ashes, which was their first album. So it's kind of cool to get. I didn't really know. At the time, I was just As I Lay Dying fanboy and just bought it blindly. But so it's got the first album on it, which was cool to get. I remember it not being as, I liked it, but it wasn't as strong as the 2 albums that came after it. But it was cool nonetheless. It's called A Long March, the First Recordings is the name of the compilation. So yeah, As You Lay Dying, not a band that I'm super into these days, but certainly in the early 2000s was a band that I was super into as I was big into metalcore. Alright, next up, this is an album that I showed off, I don't know, maybe a month ago or so when I got it in. Another band out of Australia. This is Asbestosisis, just an EP. If nothing, I mostly bought it because of the combination of, because the album's called Eaten Back in Time, as it references Eaten Back to Life by Cannibal Corpse, and Somewhere in Time by Iron Maiden. So I enjoyed that. Otherwise, music's nothing special, just, you know, cool little gore grind kind of stuff, kind of bad early Carcass, or I won't say bad early Carcass, but, you know, just kind of whatever, mediocre. Solid early Carcass kind of style stuff. Pretty cool, 15 minutes or so. Listened to it earlier today, actually. Not bad. I'll leave a Bandcamp link. Alright, last two are from the same band. This is a band out of Norway, folk metal band. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce their name, but it's Ásmegin. This is their album called... I'm not going to pronounce it. You can try to pronounce it yourself there. Yeah, I actually really like, they have the second one called Arv. I think both of these are really strong in terms of folk metal. It's not as whimsical as, say, like a Korpiklani. It's a little more, I don't know, just well done. Kind of, well done is not the right phrase. It's kind of like Korpiklani too, but just a little more less whimsical. We'll just go with that. Less whimsical. Lots of different vocals, female clean vocals, harsh vocals. As the base genre for this folk metal band is black metal. Clean vocals from men, just lots of layered vocals going on at the same time. Vocals are not something that usually is one of the things I like most in a band, but I think these guys do it excellently. So lots of different layered vocals going on, which I really like. The music's really solid too. Lots of violin. I think oddly the drummer is really doing super heavy lifting for this band and really propelling all the songs forward. I really like this one. This one's not as good. It took me a while to buy this one actually, because I bought this one, but then right around the time this one came out, I bought this, and I heard this one wasn't as good, so I was kind of scared to check it out, but I finally eventually did, and I don't know why. It's not bad enough that it's not worth listening to. I think it's actually really, really good. Definitely if you like the first one, check out this one too. Same kind of thing. You know, lots of different vocals going on. Black metal bass genre, drums really killing it. If you're into folk metal at all, Ásmegin, or however you pronounce the name of this band, is definitely worth your time. Definitely, I would, if I had to do like a top 25 favorite all-time folk metal albums, both of these would definitely be on that list, and that's, you know, under the consideration that like half the albums would be Moonsorrow albums. Alright, so yeah, that's the 10 or whatever it was for this video. Thanks for stopping by and checking out the collection. If you're familiar with any of those releases, let me know what you think of them. But yeah, that's it for this video. Check in next time where we see what's up next on the shelf. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and like I said, let me know if you have any opinions on those releases, and otherwise, have a good day.